Oh, guys. Mr. Mohammed, Ibrahim Mohammed, please, you can unmute yourself in case you know you want to speak with someone outside this class. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining tonight's class on the MIAD 805, the area studies focusing on the Middle East. Let me just mute this man. Sorry, I'll just mute him. Okay. So tonight we will study Module 2 because in our previous class we've done Module 1, and the Module 1 focuses on the introduction to the Middle East and the creation of the State of Israel. And we all know that the State of Israel was created in May 1948, and the creation of Israel brought up some disagreement between the Jews and the Arabs. So this is what the Module 2 focuses on. So we'll study the Module 2, we'll look at the reaction of the Arab to the creation of Israel. So when the State of Israel was created in 1948, what was the response, or what was the reaction of the Arabs? And what happened beyond that? You know, since 1948 that Israel was created, up to date, there have been fights between the Arabs and the Jew. So that is what we want to study in Module 1. But I would like to implore every one of us, this class, we will not be religiously biased, or we just not be supporting one religion or supporting one camp or not. We need to be diplomatic enough to understand this class. Understand? So we'll talk about some wars that occur in the Middle East, and also how this war shape the Middle East. Understand? So for you to understand this class, you have to ask yourself, why are the Arabs and the Israel fighting? Why is it that in the Middle East part of the world, there is always war? So the curiosity to answer that question will make you to understand this module. Like, in a way of you finding an answer to this question will make you to understand this module. Understand? So what are the major causes, or what are the occurrences that happen in this part of the world, in the Middle East? So that is what we want to study today. Understand? So the background cause of the war in the Middle East is, we need to ask, as I said, why was there war, or why there is still war in the Middle East? So the first thing you have to know is, after the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, the Arab countries felt deeply betrayed. The Arabs felt deeply betrayed because of three major things. They felt deeply betrayed because of three major things, and that is the reason why they've been fighting till now, till then, from 1948 till 2025. The first thing is, Palestine was was habited mostly by the Arabs for centuries. Palestine was the land of the Arabs for centuries, according to the Arabs. So the Israelites got there, settled there, and due to the UN partition, the second reason is due to the United Nations partition in, in 1947, the United Nations partition of 181 resolution, because in the UN, they had a resolution of 181 where they give 55% of the land to the Israelites, and they give 45% of the land to Arab. Why? Jerusalem and Bethlehem and some other religious places were kept to the international community. So they see it as a cheat that you met us in our land, you took 55%, while you give us 45%. So the Arab country sees it as you are cheating us. So this is the second reason. Why the third reason is that the Jew accepted the UN plan. like Jew, they accepted the UN plan for taking 55% of the land belonging to the Palestinian, and the Palestinian will take 44. The Jew accepted it, and why the Arab rejected it. So for these three reasons, the war has been happening there since 1948 till today. Understand? So in May 14, the Israel declared May 14, 1948, Israel declared itself as an independent nation, independent state. So immediately they declared themselves as independent state. The following day, which is the May 15, 1948, the Arab country attacked Israel as a retaliation that we don't agree that you will be an independent state. Understand? So the Arab country that attacked Israel then was Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. They attacked Israel because they were not happy with the UN resolution. The UN resolution, once again, is a partition of the Palestinian land into two. They divided the Palestinian land into two. They give 55% to Israelites, they gave 45% to Palestinian. So immediately Israel declared itself as an independent country in 1948. They attacked Israel. You understand? They attacked Israel in a way to support their brother. In Module 1, if you remember, in Module 1, I mentioned that Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire existed before 1917. And 1917 was when there was the Belmont Declaration. The Belmont Declaration is when the British supported the settlement of the Jew in Palestine. The British government, they said they will support the Palestinians to settle. So for people that have watched the first module videos, you will understand what I'm saying. Understand? Now, we'll talk about the first war now. We want to talk about the first war. I just talked about the background, why they are fighting. Now, let's talk about the first war that occurred between these two countries. These two parties, rather. I mean, when I say parties, I mean the Israelites and the Arabs. For you to understand the wars, you need to know the background of the war, the causes. You need to know the event that happened there, what really happened. And you need to know the consequences that occur. So by knowing these three, the causes or the background, the event that happen, and the end result, it will give you a clear picture. Even if you don't know everything during the examination, you will have a clear picture of what really happened. You'll be able to write something based on your own understanding. You understand? So the first one that happened was the Independence War. We call it the Independence War. The Independence War was between 1948 and 1949. The Independence War was between 1948 and 1949. Now, what was the causes? Like, what are the causes of the Independence War? So, the number one causes of the Independence War between 1948 and 1949 is the Arab. Number one is Arab refused to accept the creation of Israel. Number one is the Arabs refused to accept the creation of Israel. Listen, because they believe that the land the Israelites are staying belong to the Palestinians. So that is the reason why they refused the creation of the state of Israel in 1948. That's the first reason that caused the war. Understand? So the second reason that caused the war is they wanted to stop the Jewish state. Here, when I talk about the Jewish state, I make reference to Israel. So they wanted to stop the creation or the expansion of the Jewish state and protect Palestinians. So these two reasons that we don't accept Palestine, we don't recognize Palestine, and we don't want to expand, we don't want them to expand in our territory. We want to protect our brothers who are Palestinians. These two reasons cause the background of the fight between the Arabs and the Israel. Now, what are the events that occur.
Sorry, can you repeat the second reason?
They wanted to stop the Jewish state, into bracket Israel. So when we talk about Jewish state, we talk about Israel. When we talk about Israel, we talk about the Jewish state. So they wanted to stop the Jewish state and protect Palestinians. They see Palestinian as a brother, so they wanted to protect Palestinian. So, can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Now, event, what really happened during that day, during that wartime? What happened? That is the event. The event will give you a picture of what happened. You were not there, but there's written, how do you call, history that explain what happened. The number one thing that happened is that 5 Arab nations invaded Israel after Israel declared itself an independent nation, independent state. You know, Israel declared itself an independent state in May 14, 1948. So immediately Israel declared itself, the following day, 5 Arab countries attacked them, invaded them. Now, these 5 countries, these 5 Arab countries are the Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. I repeat it: Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. These 5 countries invaded Israel and attacked them. You already know the causes why they attacked them. So we need to know the actors. The actors are these 5 countries, which means 5 countries versus 1 country, which is Israel. Understand? So the second event that happened is there was a severe fight in the Palestinian territory. That was a severe part. So when we talk about Palestinian territory here, we make reference to the land occupied by the Israelites. I'm sorry to say, I'm not making any reference to the Israelite in the Jewish book or the Israel. Sorry, the Israelite in the Quran or the Israelite in the Bible. No, we are not talking about that one. We are talking here. We are talking about the Jewish. Understand? So do not put it into the religious part. So here we are being diplomatic enough to learn. So this caused the serious fight between the Arab and the Israelite in the Jewish land. Understand? In Palestine. Sorry, in Palestine. But Israel were outnumbered. Number three is Israel was outnumbered because there was 5 countries against 1 country. Israel was outnumbered, but Israel was smart enough. Israel was smart enough to overcome these 5 countries. Understand? Because Israel was organized and they have the support of the British by that period. So they were smart enough, well organized. They overcome these 5 countries. Imagine that 1 country, 5 countries is fighting 1 country, and 1 country won the war. Israel won the war. So immediately when Israel won the war, what happened is Israel gained more territory. You know, the territory partition in the resolution 181 was Israel was given 55% of the land, while Palestine take 45%. But immediately Israel won the war, Israel advanced its territory. It took more than what was given to them in the UN. I don't know whether I'm communicating.
Yes.
So
yes.
Immediately.
But,
Please,
Mr. Sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
Concerning the territory part.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why UN did what they did the initial time. Why they gave Israel 55 and the Arab 45.
Thank you
Because
very
I don't understand the sharing formula. Why was that done? Because that was what led to this whole issues in the first place.
Thank you very much. You have to know that in 1917, during the Belmont Declaration, so the Belmont Declaration, the British government accepted the Zionist movement. The Zionist movement is that all Jews that are living in the world, we should come and settle in this. Because the Jews believe that in their own religious book, the Judaism book, they believe that it was a land that was promised to them. You get? So they believed that it was a land that was promised to them, but they were not living there before 1917. They were all living in Europe, but they were persecuted. Listen, they were persecuted in Europe. That is why the Zionism movement started. It was in mode one. We explained all this in mode one. The Zionism movement started because they see that they were persecuted in Europe and they just have to come back to their own land. Now, why did the UN give them 55% and how do you call it? They gave Palestine 44%, 45%?
45.
This reason is, I can say it's unknown. That is why it is unknown. That is why the Arabs today are against this partition. Listen, because if the reason was known, there will not be the Arab retaliation or the response of the Arabs. Am I?
Or I think maybe the British wanted to show their supremacy too.
But it was UN that did the partitioning.
The UN, United Nations.
It was only UN that did
They're the one that
partitioning.
did the partition, though there's still an argument.
The argument remained that the Arab did not support them because they did not give a reason for this partition. Assuming that they did it 50-50, there will not be war. But because they did it 55-45%,
45.
I think British did that because they want to show their own power too. I think so.
yeah, they want to show their own power. Accepted. But is that a tangible reason?
No.
So they want to show their power, but let's ask ourselves: is that a tangible reason for taking? Because before 1917, that the British declared that they want to support all Palestinians that are living in Europe to come and settle in Palestine. All Israelites living in Europe to come and settle in Palestine. Before that period, the Palestinian was living peacefully in the land, and they were living peacefully in the land. So, if the British wanted to show their power, listen, I would have said on part, I would have said that it should be 50-50. So by doing 50,
exactly,
no problem will occur. Peace will be in the world.
Yeah.
But with the 55-45% partition, that is what I have for. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you. So when Israel won the war, when Israel won the war, they expanded the territory beyond what was given to them by the United Nations. Understand? Now, what is the consequences, or what are the consequences of this war? So we talk about the cause, we talk about the event that happened. Now, what are the consequences? What happened after the war? The number one thing that happened is Israel won and expanded its territory. That's number one. They expanded its territory more than what was given to it by the United Nations. The number two is 7,000 Palestinians were displaced. No,
700,000.
700,000 Palestinians. So 700,000 Palestinians were displaced. That is, they became refugees. Understand? And that one they call it Nakba. Nakba, which is
Al-Nakba.
Yeah, Nakbta. Al-Nakba, which is catastrophe. So Al-Nakba means catastrophe. So imagine a place being lived peacefully by people. Because of the war, 700,000 people have to leave that place and go and settle in another place. They leave their family, they leave their home, they lost their family, they lost everything. They lost their belongings. They have to flee away to another place. So 700,000 lost their territory. That's the second consequence that happened. The third thing is that, Israel took part of the land. They expanded the land. So Jordan on its own part control the West Bank. In the land of Palestine, there is one part they call West Bank. So Jordan occupied that part, while Egypt on the own control the Gaza. Egypt controlled Gaza. Because this was not in the control of the Palestinian again. Palestinian was they were out of control. So it's all these Arab countries, the 5 Arab countries I mentioned, that they were fighting for Palestine because Palestine was weak already. So they have to defend Palestine sovereignty. So that is why they also have to fight this war for Palestine. Am I communicating?
Yes.
So this is the first war that occurred between the Arabs and the Israel, which is called the Independence War. Understand? Now, the second war that occurred between these two clans, these two parties, was in 1956. In 1956, there is a war that occurred between these two parties that is called the Suez Canal War, or the Suez Canal Crisis. Suez is spelled, you can see it on the screen here. You can see the transcription here. Suez is S-U-E-Z. S-U-E-Z. Suez Canal. Canal is C-A-N-A-L. Suez Canal Crisis or war. Now, for you to understand what is Suez Canal, understand? Let's define Suez Canal. Understand? So Suez Canal, this is a man-made waterway. It's a man-made waterway in Egypt. You understand? Let's say like a river that was made by man. Understand? So it's a man-made waterway in Egypt, and it connected the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. This let's say I'm just giving an example. This river connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. Understand? But it is in Egypt. Understand? People know it as the shortcut for ship, for big ship that do export and import. So they know it as a short way. If you don't want to pass through Africa to go to Asia, through the Suez Canal, you can easily transport your ship and it will go straight to where you want to go, either in Asia or in Europe. Understand? So now, why is the Suez Canal important? Why is that waterway very important to them? And why for you need to know why it's important and what really we are talking about. So just picture it that the Suez Canal is like a stream or a river that link the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, and it helps ships to move freely from Asia to Europe to the Middle East. Is in Egypt. Now, why is this Suez Canal very important? Now, just picture it. Imagine that you need to carry goods and you need to carry your products from Italy to India. We know Italy is in Europe, and we know India is in Asia. Am I right? So, because we know it is two different countries, you want to carry your products from Italy to India. If there is no Suez Canal, you need to go to Cape Town in South Africa. From Cape Town, you will now do a round turn before you can go to India from Italy. You know, Cape Town is in Africa. So if there was no Suez Canal, you have to do a round trip going to Cape Town before you can go to. But because there is Suez Canal, it makes the journey very short and very economical. But if there was no Suez Canal, they will have to pass through Cape Town, which is going to be longer and exhausting, and they will spend more money. Yes, sir. So this is why this Suez Canal is very, very important. As an assignment, you should just Google Suez Canal. You will see the stream, like the river. Let me just put the stream or river. Just picture it like that. It's just a waterway Understand? So because of its strategic movement, because of the strategic movement between the strategic movement between the Asia and Africa and Europe, that is why the Suez Canal is very important. Understand? So, in short, you just have to know that the Suez Canal is a global highway. Understand? For ship, is a global highway for ship. Understand? So we have highway for car, for plane. This one is global highway for ships. Understand? And it is valuable and strategic enough because without that one, ship will have to pass through Africa to do their transaction. But with the Suez Canal, it's very easier for them to transport goods from Asia to Africa, so from Asia to Europe, from Europe to Middle East. Understand? Now, this Suez Canal was built by the French. Understand? It was built by the French and Egyptian because it is still in Egypt. So it was built by France. You know, because France colonized them. So it was built by France and the Egyptian. And it was opened in 1869. This canal was opened in 1869. But the British later took it from the France. They took it because they colonized India. The British colonized India. So they took the Suez Canal from them because it made the British to move from Britain to India. They will not need to pass to Africa before they get to India. They pass through the Suez Canal for them to easily get to India.
Your face black.
Let me just move this person. Sorry, I just moved yes. So am I communicating? Do you understand what I mean by the Suez Canal? If you don't understand, let me know. I'll just repeat myself, please.
It was opened when?
In 1869.
Okay, 1869.
Yeah.
Please, I don't understand. Can you come back? Can you take it again?
Part of the British takeover.
Okay, let me just repeat it again. Now, the second war that occurred between the Arab and the Egypt is the Suez Canal crisis. Suez is spelled S-U-E-Z. Canal is spelled C-A-N-A-L. Crisis, understand? Now, but before you can understand what really caused the war between them, you need to understand what is Suez Canal. Understand? So Suez Canal is like a waterway. Understand? But the waterway is for ships, big boats. You understand? So they use that highway, that way, to ship goods from Europe to Asia, from Asia to the Middle East. Do you understand? But this highway, this waterway, or let me just use an example of river. This river is in Egypt. Understand? It was built by by France and Egyptian in 1869, and it is in Egypt. Without this highway, without this waterway, for you to transport goods from Italy to India, you will need to pass through Cape Town, which is in Africa. And if you have to pass through Cape Town from Italy, you need to go to Cape Town, and from Cape Town, you now do the round of Africa before you go to India. You will spend more money. It will be stressful. Understand? So because of the Suez Canal, from Italy, you can just take boat, your ship, straight to India. Let me just give you an example now. Look at our brothers that are passing through from, they are passing from Libya. I'm just giving an example. From Libya, they are going to Italy. Have you seen it in documentary where people from Libya, they go to Italy by boat? Have you seen it before?
No.
No.
One here.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes, I think I've seen it.
Thank you very much. So imagine that there is no way for them to pass through Libya to Italy. That means that they will need to do another route. They need to find another way. The same thing applicable to the Suez Canal. So the Suez Canal make things easier if you want to buy goods in Italy, for instance, or in any part of Europe, you can transport your goods via ship from Europe to Middle East or from Middle East to India. So, but this canal was in Egypt. So Egypt can decide to block it if they want. They can decide to open it if they want. They can open it if they want, they can block it if they want, because it is in their territory. Now, what caused the crisis? In 1956, the Egypt president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, his name is on the screen, you can see it. Gamal is a Gamal, Gamal Abdel Nasser. You can see it on the screen, Gamal Abdel Nasser. So the Egypt president in 1956 decided that he will take over control of the Suez Canal. All of a sudden, his own belief is the Suez Canal is in our territory, and we must secure it. That is what we call nationalism. Nationalism is that you fight for what belongs to you. In Nigeria, it happened also. We have some nationalities in Nigeria. We have Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, and the likes. Listen, so these are nationalists. So the same thing happened in Egypt. The president in 1956 said that we will take over the Suez Canal. Understand? So, but when he declared that one, the Britain and the France were against it. The Britain and the France were against it. You know, the Suez Canal is in Egypt. He declared that he wants to take control over it. But the Britain and the France against it, because these two countries used to get money from it. Any ship that passes through that area must pay tax, must pay money. You understand? It's like you going from Nigeria to Togo. You need to pass through land. When you get to the border, you pay for your visa. The same thing. Any ship that passed through the Suez Canal will pay money, and that money was going to the France and the Britain. Understand? So that's why they against it. On the other hand, Israel, on the other hand, also joined the France and the Britain, because Egypt has already blocked the way. Understand? So when Egypt blocked the way, Israel was not like, Israel see itself like they've been camped. Israel that they've been camped. They cannot transport anything from Israel to outside the world, or from outside the world to Israel. So because they blocked the way, Israel also joined the France and the Britain. Am I communicating?
Yes.
But you see, Britain and France bombarded Egypt for that reason. Understand? Britain and France bombarded Egypt for that reason. And Israel joined them in bombarding Egypt. But the thing is that the United Nations and the Soviet Union and the USA told them to stop and withdraw everything they are doing. You understand? The president of a country, the president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser.
You say which country?
What?
You mentioned some country that they are not part. I didn't get it well.
Can you repeat yourself, please? I'm not hearing.
You said Britain, France, and Israel joined in bombarding Egypt.
Yeah.
When you made mention the network was bad, I heard United States.
But when they bombarded, they were bombarding Egypt, the United Nations, the Soviet Union, and the USA stopped them, asked them to stop what they are doing, asked them to stop bombarding Egypt and withdraw. Understand? It asked them to stop bombarding Egypt and withdraw. You know, automatically, if they stop bombarding Egypt and then withdraw, that means that Egypt has won the war. That's it, because Egypt wanted to take control of the Suez Canal. So that's automatically we've won it if they are not bombarding us, if they are not controlling us. Now, why it matters? Why is the Suez Canal matter? There is 3 major reasons why it matters. Listen. in our study, why it matters in our study. Understand? So, number one is Egypt won control, 100% control of the Suez Canal. Understand? Egypt won control of the Suez Canal. Then number two, the president of Egypt that I mentioned, I said Gamal Abdel Nasser. This president became an hero. He became hero. Listen, in the Arab world. When we talk about Arab world, we don't make reference to only in Egypt alone. We make reference to other Arab countries in the Middle East. Because they see him that he challenged Britain, Israel, and France. And he won. So they see that man as their hero. Understand? The number two is that Britain and France lost their influence. Britain and France lost their influence in the Middle East because they were not able to make Egypt succumb. So they fought Egypt, but they did not win that war.
Go back.
Understand?
Use soap and water.
Let me mute. Sorry.
Sorry for that.
Can you say that again?
So you mean the third part?
Yes.
So I mean, the Britain and the France, they lost influence in the Middle East. So not only in Egypt, in the Middle East entirely. When we talk about the Middle East, we talk about all the Arab countries, Middle East area. So not only in France. So, and they show that the Middle East country were no longer in control of the Western world, were no longer in control of either the British or the France. Understand? So Egypt won the war because they did not succumb to the pressure of the France and France and Britain. So they won the war. And
I have a question.
Okay.
Please. I have a question.
I'm listening.
Okay, so you said that USA, UN, and Soviet Union instructed the Britain and France and Israel to stop attacking, to stop bombarding Egypt during the war.
Yeah.
So how did they win? When
Let me explain. Thank you very much. This is one of our course. That was one of our course. We mentioned that before World War II, there was a hegemony. I think it's this course whereby only the British that was the world power. But later, after the World War I, USA took over. USA was managing it with the Soviet Union. You understand?
Yes.
So the Soviet Union and the Soviet Union and the USA were the two world power then. You understand? So if the two world power and the international organization, which is the United Nations organization, ask you to stop something and you did not stop, that means you are ready for war. It's either you face them or you stop. Am I communicating?
Yes, I get that part.
They don't want to fight the United Nations, USA, and the Soviet Union. For that reason, they stop the war. So if they withdraw, if they stop the war, automatically it means that the Egypt have won the war. Because when you fight someone, the person that first withdraw means that the person has lost the war. So is the France, the France, the Britain, and the Israel that first withdraw. That means they automatically lost the war. And they withdraw not because they want to withdraw. They withdraw because of the pressure mounted on them by the UN, the USA, and the Soviet Union. Am I communicating?
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. No. So about the second war that happened in the Middle East. There's the first war, which is the independence war. The second war, which is the person duty. The second war is the Suez Canal crisis. Understand? Now, we are moving to the third war. The third war, what happened? The third war is called the 6 Days War. Understand? The third war is called the 6 Days War. They fought this war for only 6 days. Understand? And it was in 1967. They fought this war for only 6 days, and it was in 1967. It is a short war because 6 days you cannot fight a war for only 6 days, but because they fought it for only 6 days, it was regarded as a 6 days war. And so it was a war between the Arabs and Israel. And when I talk about the Arabs here, I make mention about the Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Listen, Egypt, Syria, Jordan. These three Arab countries fought Israel. Understand? So for only 6 days. This war was just for 6 days. Understand? So this war shaped the map of the Middle East. Understand? It shaped the map of the Middle East. I will explain why it shaped the map of the Middle East. Now, let's go to the background of this war. What led to the war? Understand? After the first war and the second war, that's in 1948 and in 1956, after the two war, the Arabs still hated the Israel because they felt Israel was built on Palestinian land. So they hated Israel. That's one reason. That's one of the background. And number two, Israel and its neighbor, which is the Arab countries, they didn't trust each other. It's like Nigeria and Cameroon and Nigeria and Benin Republic not trusting each other. We'll be fighting every day. So the same thing applicable to Israel and all these Arab countries that circle Israel. They were not trusting each other. So they were sleeping with one eye. That anything can happen anytime. The number three is that Egypt president, that president that took over the Suez Canal, that same president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, that same president, he wanted to show other Arab nations that they can fight Israel. Because he won Britain, and Israel, and France. So he wanted to show other Arab countries that they can fight Israel and the Western power. So for that reason, he was pushing other countries, other Arab nations. He was pushing them that we can do it. We can fight Israel. We can take over this land from them. So now, when this got heated in 1967, in 1967, there is three important things that happened that make this war to be the event that make this war to rise to this stage. The number one thing that happened is Egypt moved its army to Israel border. Egypt, they moved the army to Israel border. You see, today, if Ukraine and Russia, they are fighting, it's because of the border issue. Border is very, very important. Today, let's imagine that today Cameroon, they put their soldiers in Nigerian border without any mutual agreement. Nigeria will fight them directly. So Egypt, they leave their own country. They move, they leave the capital. They move to the border of Israel with their soldiers. You understand? And Egypt told, number two thing that happened is Egypt told the United Nations peacekeepers to leave the Middle East, that they will solve it themselves. Am I communicating? The first thing is they move to Israel border. The second thing is that Egypt instructed the United Nations peacekeeper to leave the area between the Israel and the Arabs. You understand? That's the two reasons. So the number three is Egypt blocked the Gulf of Aqaba. So they block the They block the Suez Canal. They block it. Listen, they block it, cutting off Israel's sea route to Asia. So Israel was not able to take anything from Israel to Asia. They blocked that route. So, as a country, on Israel part, this made Israel to be felt trapped and threatened. So Israel was sensing that you take your soldier to my border. You ask United Nations peacekeepers to leave this territory. And you also block the Suez Canal so that I will not be able to transport anything to Asia. That means that you are preparing for something. So Israel sensed it earlier. And Israel, as I said, Israel was not trusting his Arab neighbors. So because of these three things that Egypt did, this caused the fight between them. Now, as I said, it landed 6 days. Day one, what happened in day one? Israel made a surprise attack in Egypt. Because you brought your soldier to my border. You asked the United Nations peacekeeper to leave. You've blocked the Suez Canal so that I cannot transport any goods to Asia. So what Israel was sensing that maybe they want to plan a coup. They want to attack them. But before they will attack Israel first attacked them. So the one, what happened? The one is Israel attacked Egypt. But they did not attack only Egypt easily. They attacked Egypt Air Force. Understand? They attacked Egypt Air Force, destroying all Egypt planes before even Egypt can say they will move. You know, if I don't know whether we have soldiers here. I know we have some cosmates that are soldiers, but I don't know whether they are still here. But you know, if the Air Force is blocked, is taken over by the military, it's be very, very difficult for those the soldiers that are there, that are on ground, to take over. So Israel bombarded all the planes that Egypt has. So once they bombarded all the planes that Egypt has, they weaken Egypt power. Understand? Egypt cannot fly again. So with the air being controlled by Israel, that was an advantage for Israel. The next day, what they did is that Israel quickly attacked Mount Sinai. I think we all know about Mount Sinai. Sinai Peninsula is a mountain area. So Sinai Peninsula, they attacked Sinai Peninsula. They took it over from Egypt. Understand? And they did not stop there. They attacked Jordan. You understand? They attacked Jordan. Understand? After attacking Jordan, they captured the West Bank. They captured the West Bank. I mentioned that in the first war, the West Bank was in control of Jordan. In the first war, they fought the independent war. The West Bank was in control of the Jordan, while the Sinai Peninsula, you can see it on the screen, Sinai Peninsula was in control of Egypt. So Israel attacked them and they took over from them, and they did not stun them. They did not stun them. They went to attack Syria. Understand? They attacked Egypt, Israel attacked Egypt, they attacked Jordan, and they attacked Syria simultaneously. Understand? They attacked these three countries simultaneously. Now, why did they attack these three countries? You know, these three countries did not attack Israel, but Israel was sensing that maybe they want to attack him. So, why did they attack these three countries? It's because the Egypt were putting his militaries, the soldiers in Israel border, and they asked the United Nations peacekeepers to leave the area, and they blocked the sea route so that Egypt cannot ship any good from Israel. So that Israel cannot ship any good from Israel to Asia. Understand? Now, during this war, Israel captured some territory again. During this war, Israel captured some territory. Am I communicating before I proceed? If you don't understand, let me know for me to go back.
Yeah, we are following.
Thank you very much. Now, if you don't understand, just let me know so I can go back. Understand? That's why we are here. So, now, in this war, Israel took over some lands from Egypt, from Jordan, from Syria. Now, what are these laws? Like this land they took over, Now, from Egypt, the land they took over Sinai Peninsula. Understand? Sinai Peninsula. People that usually go to Jerusalem to pray, they usually go to Sinai Peninsula to pray there. So it's a mountain, like it has a mountain, Mount Sinai. I think it's mentioned in the Bible too and Quran. So the Sinai Peninsula, Israel took it over from Egypt. Understand? And they took over Gaza Strip. Understand? Why did they took over these two areas from Egypt? Understand? Why did they took over these two areas from Egypt? They took over this area for Egypt because these two areas is very, very rich in oil. It's very, very rich in oil. So if you take over the oil part, which is the money part, that means you'll be rich. So they took over that oil part from Egypt, which is the Sinai Peninsula and the Gaza Strip. Understand? You can see it. This, if you don't know how to write it, the right spelling is on the screen. So they took over the Sinai Peninsula and the Gaza Strip from Egypt. That's from Egypt. Now, from Jordan, what did they take from Jordan? Now, they took over West Bank, understand, and eastern part of Jerusalem. West Bank and eastern part of Jerusalem. They took it over from Jordan. You know, the reason why they took over the West Bank and the eastern part of Jerusalem from Jordan is because it is very, very important in their religion. Judaism is an holy place. Understand? So, you know, both Christian, the Muslim, and the Jews, they worship in Aqsa. There is a place there, they worship in Aqsa, they worship in Jerusalem. So, the synagogue, they worship in synagogue. So, it's very, very important to them, to their religion. So, that's why they took that one from Jordan. Understand? Now, from Syria, what did they take over? What they took over from Syria? Which land did they collect from Syria? In Syria, they took the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights. This Golan Heights is spelled like Golan and heights. Golan Heights. They took over the Golan Heights because it's a strategic place for security. It's like a mountain. If you Google it now, so if you Google it, you will see it's like a mountain. It's very, very high. So when your soldiers are there, you can be seeing other area. Maybe if they want to attack you from any other area, you'll be seeing the army coming. Before they come to attack you, you'll be seeing them. So they took it from Syria. So, you know, as they are taking this thing, this is out of the 181 how do you call partition that the UN gave them. It is out of the 55% that the UN gave them. But because of war, they were able to expand their land. Am I communicating?
Yes, but I have a question.
Yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay, so while Israel was doing all this, the Arab countries, the Egypt, what were they doing?
It's a
When they
war.
attacking them, connecting,
Very
what were
much.
they doing?
Let me thank you very much. You see, Israel launched an unexpected attack on them. It's like Egypt was moving to the border to settle with the army there. And all of a sudden, without even planning that they will attack you, they just attack all the Air Force base. So when they attack militarily, in the military strategy, once they attack your Air Force base, you cannot fly your plane. And without flying your plane, you cannot know where the enemy are. Understand? They took over. So
Okay, it was like an ambush. They ambushed.
Thank you very much. That's the right word.
Okay.
Took over the air, so you cannot know where your enemy are. So if you don't know where your enemy are, that means you are weak. They will bombarding you. So for 6 days, they bombarded them. After bombarding them, they moved to Syria and they then moved to Jordan. You understand? So when they take strategic place in Nigeria, if Nigeria want to take over Sambisa, it's here. But we don't have the necessary equipment.
Yeah.
You understand? So if our Air Force are working normally, they should see from the air, they should see where the Boko Haram or those people in Sambisa for it, they should see where they are and bombard them. Listen, so the same thing applicable to this area now. So Israel launched an air ambush to them, strike all the. Understand? Now, what is the consequences of this war? What are the consequences of this war? The first consequence is the Arab countries were humiliated. They lost their land. They were humiliated. That's the first consequences, because Israel won that for 6 days, just 6 days. Israel won the land. The second reason is Israel became militarily stronger. Understand? So it's like you're fighting 3 persons and you are only one on your own and you just won a 3. You'll be feeling stronger. So Israel feel militarily stronger. And the third consequence is over 1 million Palestinians fell under the control of Israel, which means that Israel was controlling them. Although Israel took over the land, so they were under the cage of Israel. So Israel was controlling over 1 million Palestinians. Understand? Can I proceed? And the last consequence is that this led to the war, the fourth war. It led to the fourth war. And the fourth war is called, let me just spell it, Yom Kippur. That's Y is on the screen, but let me Y-O-M. That's Yom, and
Yom Kippur.
yeah, Kippur. That's the fourth war. So because the Arab felt defeated and Palestinians were more than 1 million Palestinians was under the control of the Israelites, and Israel became more powerful. This led to the fourth war. Understand? So the desire to revenge in the heart of Arab, they want to revenge. Understand? They want to retaliate. That caused fourth war. So before we move to the fourth war, if you have questions for the 3 war we've explained, let me know before I move to the fourth war. If you have questions for the 3 war I mentioned, let me know before I move to the fourth war. I'm sorry. If you have questions, let me know. Can I proceed? So now, we want to talk about the Yom Kippur War. Yom is W-Y-O-M, and the Kippur is K-I-P-P-U-R. Now, it was in 1973 before this war. Before this war in 1973. So now the meaning of Yom Kippur is, the Muslim they have they have Ramadan. The Muslim have Ramadan. I think the Christian also have the holy days. The same thing applies to the Jews. The Jews also have their own holy day. Even the traditionalists also have their holy days. So the Yom Kippur is the holiest day in Judaism. In the Jew religion, the Yom Kippur is the holiest day. It's a day whereby they pray, they fast 24 hours, no food, no sex. I'm sorry for the word. No food, no eating, no drinking for 24 hours. And it's a day whereby they meditate, they go to synagogue, they pray, they go to Jerusalem, they pray. So this day is when the fourth war started. The Arab let them be fasting. When you fast, you don't want to fight anybody, you don't want to do any war, just do on your own, you don't want to fight. So the Arab target that day by them, the holiest day. It's like you targeting Muslim during Ramadan. So Muslims are fasting during Ramadan and you are targeting them that day. The same thing, the Arab targeted that day, target the Israel. They target, that's the holiest day in Judaism. In Judaism religion. So that's the only day. Now, what is the cause? The number one cause is that Arab states, especially Egypt, and Syria, they wanted to regain the land Israel took from them in the third war. They wanted to regain the land Israel took from them in the third war. Understand? You know, in 1967, in the third war, they lost some land. So let me just person. So they wanted to regain the land they lost in the third war. So that was the primary cause of this war. Understand? They want to now number two reason is they want to restore the national pride. Understand? Because the Arabs were humiliated in the third war. For this 6-day war, they were humiliated. But in this fourth war, they want to regain their national pride. Understand? And they want to force Israel into peace, into negotiation. They want to force Israel to negotiate with them. This is the primary reason. So, Egypt wanted what it lost. Syria wanted what is lost. Jordan wanted what they lost. So that was the primary cause of this fourth war. But what happened? What are the events that happened? What are the events that happened? On Yom Kippur Day, Egypt and Syria, they launched a surprise attack. Understand? They launched a surprise attack in Israel. The same way Israel launched a surprise attack in the third war. The same thing Egypt and Syria did. They launched a surprise attack on that same day, that holiest day in Judaism. They launched a surprise attack. Understand? And they were, as they launched a surprise attack, they were moving towards them with the troop, with the army. They were moving towards them with the army. And the Egypt, they went to Sinai Peninsula. Sinai Peninsula was taken over by Israel. So the Egypt went there, while the other one went to the West Bank. The Syria went to the West Bank. Now, Syria attacked the Golan Heights and the West Bank. It's like, let me just give an example. It's like Benin. Let me just take an example. Benin Republic is our neighbor. Cameroon is our neighbor in Nigeria. Now, we now say we want to take over. Let's say we want to take over. Sorry. Let's say we want to. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me. So let's say we want to take over Cameroon and Benin Republic. We divide ourselves into two. One group attack Cameroon. One group attack Benin Republic. The same thing applicable. So Syria attacked Golan Heights and the West Bank, while Egypt attacked Sinai Peninsula because they wanted to regain the land that was taken from them. You understand? That was what happened during the event that happened there. But what was that event? What did they gain from it? What did they gain at the end? Now, they gained 14 resulted from this war. Understand? The number one is Arab army regained some dignity. Arab army, they regained their dignity because, they won the war indirectly because they took Israel in surprise. So they gained their dignity. Number three, Israel realized that it was not invisible. I don't know how to say the word in English. It's invisible. Sorry, invisible. Like they were not untouchable. Let me just put it like that. They were not untouchable. Like people can attack them. Israel realized that they were not too powerful like that. Understand? So that's number two thing that resulted from the war. The number three thing that happened from the war is that the USA and the USSR became heavily involved. They became heavily involved. So they asked for this war to stop. Understand? So they asked for this war to stop and the number 14 that happened there, they set a stage for negotiation.
Sorry, can you say three again? I'm so sorry.
The USA and the USSR, they became heavily involved. You understand? They became heavily involved and they asked this war to stop. That's the third thing. Why the fourth thing is that they set a stage for negotiation between Israel and the Arab nations, Arab states. Understand? So this war for caused one thing to happen. That there was an agreement that happened. Understand? There was an agreement that happened. The agreement, let me just say, it opened an agreement. Understand? So the agreement happened in 1978. You know, the war was fought in 1973, but this agreement happened in 1978. It was the floor for negotiation. Understand? So the agreement is called the Camp David Peace Agreement. Camp David Peace Agreement. Camp David Peace Agreement is on the screen. Camp David Peace Agreement in 1978. This was an agreement between Egypt and Israel. So what happened in this Camp David agreement? Understand what happened between Camp David in Camp David agreement? In Camp David agreement in 1978. Hope I'm not too fast. Let me know if I'm fast. I'll go down. I will slow down. Somebody wrote a comment. Sorry, I just want to read the comment. My network is frustrating. This is so interesting. That's Joy. I can see Joy. Joy is coming in and coming out. So I'm sorry, the network is not in our favor. Now, what happened in Camp David agreement in 1978? Now, you know, this agreement was between Israel and Egypt because it is Egypt that is disturbing Israel. So they had to find issue. They had to find a stand to conclude, to resolve the fight. Now, three major things occur in Camp David agreement. Understand? The first thing is Israel will return the land they took from Egypt. That's the first thing. And the land they took from Egypt is Sinai Peninsula. That's the first thing. So they agree that Israel will return that land back to Egypt. Then number two is Egypt will officially recognize Israel. Is a strong how do you call condition? You know, Egypt did not recognize Israel before, but they put it as a condition that's number two thing. Egypt must officially recognize Israel. When you say officially, you need to pronounce your president in your country need to pronounce it other. We officially recognize the state of Israel. So that's number two thing. Number three thing is that both countries should stop the war. They stop hostilities. Understand? So this became the first agreement between Israel and the Arab country. Before the 1978 agreement, David Camp peace agreement, there was no agreement between the Israel and the Arab country. But this became the first agreement between these two parties. Am I communicating? Am I communicating?
Yes.
So this brings us to the end of the War 4. So we talk about War 1. The War 1, who can tell me what is the War 1 called?
Independent War.
In the Independent War. What about the second war?
Suez Canal War.
Suez Canal War. What about the third war?
War.
6 days.
War. What about the fourth war?
Young
Young
people.
people.
Thank you very much. So these are the four wars. So now this is now taking us to the fifth war. Understand? The fifth war. Understand? Now, the fifth war is called the Lebanon War of 1982. The fifth war is called the Lebanon War of 1982. It's called the Lebanon War of 1982. So now, the Lebanon War of 1982 82. Let me explain this one to you. You know, Israel has took over some land in Palestine. Understand? So there was one group, they call them the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. Understand? So the PLO, they are Palestinians. But because Israel has took over their lands, they moved from Palestine to Lebanon. Understand? They moved from Palestine to Lebanon. And from Lebanon, they were attacking Israel. From Lebanon, all these countries, they are neighbors. So from one country, you can attack another country. So from Lebanon, this PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization, they were attacking Israel because they are Palestinian. They are fled away from their land to Lebanon. Now, at that time, Lebanon was in civil war. So Lebanon was in civil war. You cannot tell whether it is Lebanon attacking Israel or it is Palestinian Liberation Organization attacking Israel. So Lebanon was in civil war. So the civil war is like the Christian, the Muslim, the enemies. All of them were just fighting each other. Understand? So there was civil war there. They were fighting each other. So the Palestinian Liberation Organization took that chance to settle in the southern Lebanon, in the southern part of Lebanon. And from there, they were attacking Israel. You understand? So the Lebanon government lost control of the land because there was civil war. So they lost control of the land, and this made easier for for all these PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, to penetrate them and be attacking. So it's just going to look like it is Lebanon attacking Israel, whereas it is Palestinian attacking Israel from the land of Lebanon. You understand? Now, what caused that war? What are the causes of the war? You understand? Now, number one cause, we have three major causes of the war. The number one cause of the war is that Israel wanted to invade Lebanon. Israel wanted to invade Lebanon. The reason why Israel wanted to invade Lebanon is that they wanted to stop the PLO to attack them. Understand? I said that the PLO are the Palestinian Liberation Organization. So they wanted to stop the PLO from attacking them. So Israel wanted to enter Lebanon. When we talk about War II and War III, Lebanon was not that actively involved in fighting Israel because they were having their own internal problem. So they were not attacking Israel. But because these PLO were in Lebanon land, so Israel wanted to forcefully enter Lebanon so that they can be attacked. They can stop the PLO from attacking the from the Israel. Understand? So number two is that Israel wanted to push the PLO far away from its border. Because if they are still in the Israel border, Israel and Lebanon is the sharing border. So if the PLO are still in that border, it will be easier for the PLO, which is the Palestinian Liberation Organization, to be attacking the Israel. Understand? And number three reason is that Israel wanted to destroy the PLO. Understand? First reason, they want to forcefully enter Lebanon to attack PLO. The second, they want to push away PLO from the border. What the third thing is that they want to destroy the PLO. Understand? Now, event of the war. What happened during this war? Understand? What happened during this war? Can I proceed? I don't want to be too fast. This is story, so I don't want to be too fast. So for you to understand the story well.
Yes.
Can I proceed? Thank you very much. Now, events that happened during this war. Number one, Israel invaded Lebanon in June 1982. Israel invaded Lebanon in June 1982. When a country invade another country, you should know that that country they invaded has lost its sovereignty. Are we communicating? That they've lost its sovereignty. So Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982, in June 1982. So number two reason, what happened in that war is number two event that happened. Israeli army, they reached Beirut. Son, we know Beirut is the capital of Lebanon. So Israel army reached Beirut. So like we fight, Cameroon is our neighbor. Let me just move this person, please. Person. So it's like we fighting, it's like Nigerian fighting Cameroon, and Cameroon army, they fought until they reach our capital in Abuja, which means if they take over that capital, that means we've lost totally. The same thing applicable. Israel army reached Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. That's the second thing that happened during the war. And the third thing is that there was heavy fighting happened between the Israel and the PLO. Understand? There was heavy fight between the PLO and Israel. That's the third thing that happened, the event that happened during this war. And the fourth one is that PLO fighter eventually evacuated. They run away and they went to Tunisia, far away from Israel. Tunisia is far from Israel. So that means that Israel has achieved its aim. The aim is that they should leave our border. If they are not in our border, it will be very difficult for them to attack us. So Israel pushed them far away to Tunisia. Understand? They left Lebanon, which is closer to Israel, to Tunisia. Understand? Which means they've achieved their aim. The PLO fled away to Tunisia. Understand? Now, these are the events that happened in the war. Understand? Now, what are the consequences? Because when we talk about war, there must be a background cause of the war. Let me just move this. So, when we talk about war, there must be a background cause of a war. There must be an event that happened in the war, and there must be consequences. So, when you want to explain something about war, you must know what caused the war. What are the events? What are things that happened during the war? And what was the final resolution or consequences? So what are the consequences of this war? What are the consequences of this Lebanon war? Understand? There was 4 major consequences. My battery. So that was, sorry, my phone battery is low. Sorry. So that was, sorry, I want to change the position of my phone. I'm very sorry, my phone is low. Can you see me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
we can see.
I see you.
Thank you. I've just got my phone. Hopefully it should be okay. Now, they want to talk about the consequences of the war. Understand? The number one consequence of the war is that Israel remained in the southern Lebanon for many years. Because that southern Lebanon was where the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, were. So Israel took over that part of the land. Understand? And they stayed there. After the war, instead of them to go back to the Israel land, they did not go back. They stayed there. They maintained that land that is part of our country, territory. Understand? That was the first consequence. The second consequence is that a new military group was created. A new military group was created. We were talking about PLO, which is the Palestinian Liberation Organization. So, but this war created a new military group that supported the Palestinians, and that military group is called the Hezbollah. I think you'll be hearing the Hezbollah in the news when you watch Al Jazeera. There is no week they will not talk about the Hezbollah. The Hezbollah is spelled Hezbollah. I repeat it, Hezbollah. So, we said the PLO run away to Tunisia, but when they run away to Tunisia, they form another group in support of Iraq. Iraq supported them, and they formed the Hezbollah. Since then, Hezbollah has been existing up to today. Understand? That's the number 2 reason. The number 3 reason is that Lebanon became more destabilized, because we know that Lebanon was in civil war. It's like a country having its problem, and another country come and add another problem to their problem. So Lebanon became more destabilized. Why the number 4 reason is that thousands of Lebanon citizens suffered. Understand? Thousands of Lebanese citizens, they suffered this war, because it's a war that they did not even prepare for. It is PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, that came to their country, be fighting Israel, and Israel retaliated, and they are suffering for the war. Understand? So the Hezbollah became the Israel toughest enemy. Up to today, up to 2025, the Hezbollah remain the Israel toughest enemy. Understand? Because of some things which we will explain in this next war, which is the 6th war. Understand? So if you have any question, let me know. Let me know if you have any question before we move to the 6th war. The 6th war, where we explain the Hezbollah war, Israel versus Hezbollah. What happened?
First consequence, please.
What?
The first consequence.
Israel remained in the southern Lebanon for years. You know, the southern Lebanon that is where the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, were. So that is the land that is closer to Israel border. So that was easier for enemy to stay there and bombard Israel. But because Israel is very wise, so they decided that they will stay in that southern Lebanon. Because if they have to leave the southern Lebanon, it will be very difficult for them to control it again. So they stayed there so that the PLO will stay in Tunisia, far away from them.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
It's more other contribution. So when the
person.
yeah,
Can talk.
The new military group that was created, are you part of the concept? The new military group that was created, the Hezbollah that was created, it was created in Lebanon.
Not created in Lebanon. Not created in Lebanon. It is the same PLO that fled away to Tunisia. They were the one that brought the motion to create Hezbollah, but in support of Iraq.
Okay, in support of Iraq.
Now, in support of Iraq. Yes, sir. So that's why they created it. You know, Lebanon had its own problem. Lebanon was in civil war. So they don't have that, how do you call it? They were not even 100% involved in the war. Okay. Because they had their own problems. They were facing their own problem. Understand? Now, another question? Any other question before we proceed? If there is no question, we move to the war 6, the 6th war. Now, the 6th war is the Hezbollah war versus Israel. You know, as I said, there is no week you will listen to Al Jazeera news.
Sorry, please, I have a question.
Okay.
When did the Intifada, is it Intifada? When
Intifada.
Did they
the Intifada is after this 6th war.
Okay.
So we will reach there. That's module 2, section 2. We are in module 1, section 1 currently. Okay. Now, any other question before I proceed? Okay. Now we're talking about Israel versus Hezbollah 2006 war. Understand? Israel versus Hezbollah 2006 war. Now, who are Hezbollah, or who is Hezbollah? So you'll be hearing it in news, but who are Hezbollah, or who is Hezbollah? As I said, Hezbollah is spelled Hezbollah. Hezbollah. So who are Hezbollah? Or let me just put it, who is Hezbollah? The meaning of Hezbollah is let me just mute this person, please. I'm muting him, but he's unmuting himself. So now, who is Hezbollah? The meaning of Hezbollah is it simply means party of God. Party, like a political party. Party of God. That's the meaning of Hezbollah. Understand? So it is
Small g.
what? G-O-D. Yeah.
Party of God. Small g.
Yeah, G-O-D. So they appear as the Shiite Muslim political party. Shiite is spelled Shiite. I think we have Shiite in Nigeria also. There was one time Zakzaki in Abuja. There was one confrontation between the Shiite Muslim and the Nigerian army in Abuja. So Zakzaki, I don't know whether you have this. I think during Buhari or during Jonathan regime. So there was one clash between this Muslim organization, the Shiite Muslim organization, and the Nigerian army. So the way they took this man, the leader in Nigeria, Zakzaki. So the Shiites as they are one sect of Muslim. The same way in Christianity, we have the Celestial, we have the Catholic, we have the evangelists, the missionaries. The same way in Islam. So in Islam, we have the Shiite, how do you call it, Muslim. So this segment of Muslim, they form the Hezbollah, and they are based mostly headquarters is in Iraq. The base mostly in Iraq. So they take themselves as a political party. You understand? So they form the Shiite Muslim party, and the military is the Hezbollah. You understand? Which is the party of how do you call it? The party of God, according to them. You understand? So this was formed during the Israel occupation of Lebanon. As Israel stayed in the southern Lebanon, they were forming another army to attack Israel. Understand? And they have 3 goals. The Hezbollah has 3 goals. Understand? The Hezbollah have 3 goals. The number 1 goal of Hezbollah is to resist Israel occupation. Like resist Israeli occupation. You know, they will say Israel is occupying the land of Palestinians. So the Hezbollah want to resist it by fighting the Israeli. You understand? That's the first reason. The second reason is protect Lebanon. Protect Lebanon. They want to protect Lebanon because so far as Israel is occupying the southern part of Lebanon, there won't be peace. So they want to protect Lebanon. That's the second reason. The third reason is support Palestinian at all costs. Support Palestinian at all costs. That's the third goal. Understand? So these are the 3 goals of Hezbollah. That's the 3 goals why they created Hezbollah. Understand? The first goal, to resist Israel occupation. The second goal, to protect Lebanon. The third goal, to support Palestinians at all costs. Now, when they created the Hezbollah, Israel sees Hezbollah as a terrorist group. Israel, they see Hezbollah as a terrorist group. You understand? Now, this is just about who are Hezbollah or what is Hezbollah. You understand? So you just need to know that one before we know the causes of the Israel versus Hezbollah war of 2006. What are the causes? What are the causes of this war? Understand? Can I proceed?
Mr. Akanji, sorry to cut you, please. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, please, this Hezbollah war between Hezbollah and Israel, I can't spot it anywhere. The last war here is Lebanon war, 1982.
It's in our.
according to the material I have. So I don't know if maybe
I will share the course material in the group. It's in our course material.
okay.
I will share the one
Okay,
I have here.
let's continue.
I will share the one I
Okay,
have.
thank you.
Now,
Okay.
the causes of the Hezbollah. The causes of the war. The number one cause is Hezbollah attacked Israel. They attacked Israel patrol. You know, Israel has its own army in the southern Lebanon and other parts of Palestine. So the Hezbollah attacked the Israeli patrol, understand that? The soldiers patrolling, they attacked them and they killed some soldiers. The number two reason is that they killed some soldiers. And number three is the how do you call it? The capture, they arrested two Israel soldiers. Understand? So they captured two Israel soldiers. So for these three reasons, Israel retaliated. Understand? Israel retaliated for these two reasons. My friend is starting now, but it's okay now. So for these two reasons, Israel retaliated. What are the events that happened in the war? Understand? Number one event that happened in the war is that Israel bombed Lebanon infrastructure. They bombed Lebanon infrastructure because they were in the southern part of Lebanon. So they bombed Lebanon because Lebanon soldiers also were also involved indirectly by allowing the Hezbollah to be attacking them. So number one reason Israel bombed the Lebanon infrastructure. Number two is that Israel fired thousands of rockets. Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets to Israel. If you can recollect, in September this year September, there was a fight between Israel and some Arab country where Israel attacked Iraq. But people were thinking that Iraq will not retaliate. But Iraq, through the Hezbollah, Iraq retaliated severely. It takes the intervention of Donald Trump for them to stop the war. So this year September, it happened. It was all over the news. It was all over the news. So the Hezbollah are very powerful. So the Hezbollah attacked. These people? How do you call these people? Israel. They sent over thousands of rockets. They sent thousands of missiles to Israel. And number three is that the grand battle, they take over the southern Lebanon. And there was fight in the southern Lebanon because they want to take over the southern Lebanon, but eventually the Hezbollah was powerful enough to take part of the southern Lebanon from them. And so this fight lasted for 34 days. The fight between the Israel and the Hezbollah lasted for 34 days. Now, what are the consequences of this war? What are the consequences of this war? Understand? So there is 4 major consequences we need to retain here. The first consequence is that the war ended with a resolution. And the resolution was called the 1701 resolution. You know, before we talk about the resolution 181, which was the partition resolution where we divide Israel and Palestine. But now we are talking about 1701 resolution. So this war resulted to the United Nations resolution, which is the ceasefire resolution. Another name for the 1701 resolution is the ceasefire resolution. You understand? So the number 2 consequence is that the Lebanon's infrastructure were damaged, heavily damaged. Because Israel was occupying the southern Lebanon, so the infrastructure in the Lebanon were heavily damaged. They destroyed Lebanon to a stage. Understand? The number 3 is that Israel failed to destroy Hezbollah. That Israel was not having the power to destroy Hezbollah, which means Hezbollah was powerful enough. Understand? The number 4 consequence is that Hezbollah became more popular in the Arab world. Understand? Hezbollah became more popular in the Arab world. Up to today, up to 2025, from 2006 to 2025, the Hezbollah has been existing till today. Listen? So Israel could not defeat the Hezbollah, but because the Hezbollah were very heavily armed, so they could not defeat the Hezbollah. So this is about the sixth war that happened. Listen, this is about the sixth war that happened in our course material. But aside from the sixth war, that is, we are moving to the part where we talk about the Intifada and the BDS movement. Before we move there, if you have any question, you can ask me question. Any question for me? Any question, please? We are here to learn, so we are interacting. Just ask. If I don't know, maybe another person will know. So just let's interact. Any question? Can I proceed? I'm tasty. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm very tasty. So can I proceed?
Yes.
Yes, you.
Thank you very much. Now we want to talk about Intifada. Intifadas. You can see the right spelling on the screen here. Intifada. That's what we want to talk about. The first Intifada. The first Intifada occurred between 1987 to 1993. The first Intifada occurred between 1987 to 1993. Now, what is the meaning of Intifada? Understand? Intifada means uprising, or shaking off. Uprising or shaking off. So you understand this meaning better. Why I will be explaining when I will start explaining the Intifada. You understand the meaning better. So it means, in short, it means uprising or shaking off. Understand? This gave birth to Palestinian grassroots rebellion. It gave birth to Palestinian grassroots rebellion. It gave rise to Palestinian grassroots rebellion. Now, what was the causes? The causes of the Intifada. The causes of the Intifada. You know, in First War and the Second War, we know that Israel has taken over Gaza. Understand? Has taken over Gaza and the West Bank. Now, the Palestinians living in Gaza and West Bank have suffered under Israel occupation. They have suffered under Israel occupation since the 1967. Understand? The 1967 war, they've suffered a lot under Israel occupation. So, you might be asking yourself, how did they suffer? You know, when they took over the land from them, some of them were still living. Some Palestinians were still living in the land, while some fled away. But when they are living in the land, those people that were leading them are Israelites. You understand? The Israelite was leading them. They were governing them. Now, there was harsh military rule against them. That's one of the reasons sufferness they suffered. Number two is Israel was expanding its territory. Number three is in that they confiscate some of the land. Confiscation of the land is like your fatherland. Somebody just come because he's Israelite, he take over your land from you. Your family house, somebody just come because he's Israelite, he take over from you. Because they were regarded as first citizen. Understand? They were regarded as first citizen. And so the same thing happened in South Africa also during the apartheid era. So the South African were regarded as the second citizen, while the white man was regarded as the first citizen. So the number three is that the rising unemployment. Most Palestinians were not having jobs. Understand? And the fifth one is there was no political resolution. They were trying to find solution to solving this issue so that Israel will move to the 55%, while Palestinians will stay at its 45%. But there was no solution. There was no political resolution. There was no discussion made. So this frustration pushed them to the first Intifada in 1987. Understand? So the frustration that the Palestinians were segregated and marginalized in their own land pushed them to the first Intifada. Sorry, I'm very tasty. I don't know. Let me just think, but I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. Tasty. So now, what are the events that occur in the first Intifada? Understand? There are 6 major events that occur in the first Intifada. 6 major events that occur in the first Intifada. Understand? Number 1 was mass protests. Mass protests. So people were protesting. The Palestinians were protesting. Understand? They were protesting that we don't have a job, we are unemployed, you are marginalizing us, you are segregating us, you are discriminating us. So there was mass protests. Now, number 2, stone throwing by youth. That is why you will see in news or in documentary, you will see small boys, small Palestinian boy taking stone and standing in front of armor tank, want to stone armor tank. Understand? So this is part of the event that occur in the Intifada. Understand? Why? The third thing that occur in the Intifada is boycott of the Israeli goods. They boycotted the goods coming from Israel. Understand? The fourth one that occur is strike. The strike, that is worker refusing to work. Understand? So this kind of thing happened in Nigeria. We can name it, we can link it to what happened in Nigeria during EndSARS. So during EndSARS, you can see that there was strike, there was a protest, there was people were just stoning police, soldiers, anywhere you see them. Understand? So although it is not a fight whereby you use gun, I use gun. Understand? But it's like a mass protest by showing that what you are doing to us, we don't agree with it. You understand? So the fifth thing that happened is the community. There was community. Sorry, the fifth thing that happened is there was community organization. They created organization. So these organizations were like pressure groups. Sorry, 1 minute, please. Sorry. So this was an unarmed, like it was like unarmed fight or an armed war. It's not like a war whereby they fought themselves with guns or bombs. No bombs, no gun at the beginning. Understand? At the beginning, no gun, no bomb. They were just using stone or boycotting Israel goods, not going to work. Understand? So it was like a kind of peaceful protest. Understand? The same thing happening during the EndSARS. You can see during EndSARS, at the beginning of EndSARS, there was no shooting, no gun, no single gun at the beginning of EndSARS. Just a peaceful protest was there at the beginning. The same thing happened there now. Now, what was the consequences of the Intifada? Consequences of the Intifada. There are 4 major consequences that happen in the Intifada. Now, understand? Number 1 reason is the world paid attention to Palestinian sufferings. The world paid attention to Palestinian sufferings because they were marginalized, they were segregated, they were discriminated in their own land. So that was when the world were seeing what was going in Palestine. We know the world knew that there was war in Palestine, but they did not know the gravity of that war. But during the Intifada stage, it made the world to see how the Palestinians were suffering. When you type it on Google, just type Palestinian suffering, you will see. You just be pitying them. You understand? So they make the world to hear their voice indirectly by not even using gun or not using bomb. The number two reason is the number 2 consequence is that Israel faced strong international criticism.
Israel faced strong international criticism. Many countries started criticizing Israel. They were against Israel. Many countries, because they believe that the land belongs to Palestine, so they should be they should have the privilege. The privilege an Israelite have to have, the same privilege a Palestinian have to have. But if they are being marginalized or discriminated in the land, that means you are being heartless. And so sorry for the word, but the world, that's how the world see Israel. So Israel faced international criticism. Understand? So the third consequence that happened is that Palestinian political identity grew stronger. Understand? Because they created some communities. So this community were bringing out the voice of the pressure groups. So the pressure group of Palestine, they become more stronger. In we are in November, right? In October, Abi? No, sorry. Yeah, October. Before October is what? September. In September, there was one thing that happened. I don't know whether you watched the news. There was one thing that happened whereby all the nations, like I can say, the majority of the nation, they were taking boats to go and give Palestinian food, humanitarian aid. I don't know whether you watch it. It was live online where they were taking food and medicine, drugs to Palestinian land, but Israel intercepted them. Israel intercepted them that they must not cross to that area of Palestine. They must not give Palestinian food. They must not give them drugs. They must not give them shelter. Israel intercepted them. You can Google it. What happened between Israel and the humanitarian aid? I said there is one popular name. Don't forget there is one popular name they named themselves. I said so. But what I want to infer is that Palestinian political identity grew stronger because international community were hearing about Palestine. They were hearing about the suffering of Palestine. So people were interested in Palestine. They wanted to support Palestine. Understand? The fourth one is that they forced Israel, and Israel and the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, they forced them into negotiation. You understand? Palestine political party, which is the PLO, and
that again. That's number 4. Take it again, please.
Yeah, I said Intifada. The first Intifada forced Israel and Palestinian Liberation Organization into negotiation. You know, before Intifada, there was no negotiation between Palestine and Israel. So, but because of the first Intifada, there was a negotiation between Palestine and the Israel. It was between the Palestinian Liberation Organization and Israel. You understand? So this negotiation is called the Oslo Peace Process Negotiation. The Oslo, you can see it on the screen. You can see below here. The Oslo Peace Process Negotiation of 1993. Oslo Peace Negotiation or Peace Process. Oslo Peace Process or Oslo Peace Negotiation of 1993. So, what happened in the Oslo Peace Process or negotiation? It was in 1993. It was a negotiation between the PLO. PLO is known as Palestinian Liberation Organization, and between them and Israel. So what happened in 1993? So in 1993, it's not well explained in the handout, but I make a research on that one, so I will just explain for you to just have an idea of what happened. So in 1993, something historical happened, and that thing is the Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, they sat down on the same table and talked like brothers. They talk like brothers. And they agree on two things. Number one thing is that Israel said that they recognize PLO. They recognize PLO, that is the Palestinian Liberation Organization, as a political group supporting Palestinian interest. But before then, Israel said that the PLO are terrorist group. Understand? That they will not negotiate with them. But before the 1993 Oslo peace process, Israel said that they will not negotiate, they will not talk with the PLO because they are terrorist group. Israel has the same mentality with USA. USA don't negotiate with terrorists. Now it's Nigeria that negotiate with terrorists. That's one of the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria, we can call terrorists that we want to negotiate with them. USA, they don't negotiate with terrorists. They attack us, we attack them. That's the mentality. So Israel initially said that they will not negotiate with the PLO because they believe that PLO are terrorist group. So there is no need to sit down with a terrorist and negotiate with him. That's the first reason. But during the negotiation, the 1993 Oslo peace process, Israel negotiated and they recognized PLO as a political group propelling the interests of Palestinians. Understand? The number two thing they agree on is that the PLO also said that they also recognize Israel. But before the 1993, before the 1993 agreement, the PLO said that Israel are illegally occupying Palestinian land. Understand? Before the 1993 negotiation, the Oslo peace process, before the 1993 Oslo peace process, the PLO said that Israel are illegally occupying Palestinian land. But during the negotiation, they also accepted that they recognize Israel. Understand? They recognize Israel. You need to know that the first agreement Israel made with the Arab country was with Egypt. While the second agreement they made was the PLO. Which means that Israel is now trying to gain which word should I use? Israel is getting the trust. Let me just put it, the trust of the Arab nations. So this Oslo peace process was done in Norway. It was done in Norway. So that's where they agree. But the Oslo peace process did not resolve everything. That is why up to today, they are still fighting. You know, the reason why it is not resolved everything is that there is 5 things that the Oslo peace process did not touch. You know, today, some of you, I think some people send me a question that the lecturer give them that the 20-point plan of Donald Trump. See, this 20 plan of Donald Trump, it has been one-sided if you look at it. So if you are not considering the two sides, the two people fighting, this war will not finish. But if you are just considering one or not supporting the other, the war will not finish. The same thing with the Oslo peace process. So the Oslo peace process did not talk about 5 things. The number 1 thing is Jerusalem. Who will be managing Jerusalem? In the creation of Israel, in the partition 181 of the Palestinian land, Israel was for international community, not for Palestine, not for Israel. You understand? So one thing the Oslo peace process did not talk about is Jerusalem. Who will be managing Jerusalem? They did not talk about that one. Understand? Number 2 is borders. They need to specify the borders. Let Palestine know its border. Let Israel know its border. But they did not talk about that one. Understand? The number three thing is Palestinian refugees. Release Palestine. Let Palestinians return back to their land. Understand? Don't keep Palestinians in your land. Let them return back to the land. The number 4 thing is settlements. Let us know our settlement. This is Palestinian land. Let us live in peace. Understand? The 5th one is security. Understand? Security of the Palestinians. So because of these ones, the Oslo peace process did not get its fruit. The only thing he got was they both recognized each other, but they did not settle the fight to the core. Understand? So
because this negotiation, this 5 thing I mentioned, because there was no concrete negotiation on this 5 thing, it made the Oslo peace process to broke down. So they did not conclude the agreement on that one. Understand? So we want to move to the last part of module 2. The last part of the module 2, which is the BDS. The BDS movement. The BDS movement. So the BDS movement is even happening up to today. You'll be hearing boycott Palestinian Israeli products. Some people will just tell you that don't drink Coca-Cola. That's what, I don't know whether you had it on social media. Don't drink Coca-Cola. Don't buy McDonald's, because these are the proceeds, the gain from these products are used to finance Palestinian. So now let's talk about the BDS. That's the last part, BDS movement. That's the last part of our module 2. You get? But before we talk about it, if you have question, you can ask me your question, please. If you have question, ask me your question. Please, any question? So please, any question? If you have any question, please ask your question. Can I proceed? Can I proceed? It's like
Yes,
I'm the only.
you can.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought I was the only one.
Mm.
So now, the BDS movement. You see, the BDS movement, the meaning of BDS, it means B for boycott. Understand? D for the investment. You know, we have investment. Investment is to send money to something or for a project. So the investment means that we are not sending money again. We are not investing again. So that's for the D. Why the the S is sanction. So boycott, divestment, sanction. So divestment is the opposite of investment. Understand? So divestment is opposite of investment. Now, it means that this is non-violent campaign. It's just a campaign. It's just non-violent campaign. So let me just give you an example. I just want to talk about an example. Today, I'm sorry, just if it touches you, but I just want to talk about it, like compared to Nigeria. Today, the Igbos in Lagos, I think the Igbos in Lagos are like, they are being marginalized or they are being persecuted in one way or the other. Because recently, Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos, demolished some property, some estates, and they believe that it was targeted to the Igbos. Now, if the Igbo want to apply this BDS, they can start boycotting anything coming from Lagos. They all go back to the east and they be boycotting anything that the Lagos government is doing, or anything from Lagos, or anything from the Yoruba land. Let me just put it like that. Understand? And they start investing. They stop investing in Yoruba land, because we all know that the Igbos have invested a lot in the Yoruba land. So they stop investing and they put pressure on us. So if we do that one, there's going to be negotiation at the end. But the problem with them is that they want to do war for war, which is not going to work. So the BDS is a strategy they use. It was used in South Africa during the apartheid era, but that is why the Palestinian use it also. Now, what is the goal of that BDS? There is three goal. Understand? As they stand: boycott, divestment, and sanction. So there is three goal. The first goal is end occupation of Palestinian territories. They want to end, like, those people that are occupying Palestinian territory, which is Israel, they should leave Palestinian territory. That's the first goal. The second goal is give adequate right to Palestinian citizens of Israel. You see, the funny thing is, as Israel is today Israel in 2025, today that we are talking November 2025, some Palestinians are living in Israel. Understand that? But they don't have the equal I'm very sorry. My phone battery was low, so the phone switched off. The phone was low. I didn't charge my phone. So the phone was switched off. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
So I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I didn't charge my phone. That's why. So I was explaining that what I was explaining about the goal of what did they want to achieve? What did the Palestinians want to achieve with the BDS? Understand? So which is boycott, divestment, and sanction. What did they want to achieve? They want to achieve three things. The first thing is that end occupation of the Palestinian territory. They don't want the Israel people to be in the Palestinian territory. The second thing is that give equal rights to Palestinian citizens in Israel. Because Palestinians living in Israel territory, they don't have the same right with they don't have the same right with the Israelites. So they are clamoring for the same rights. So no one should be first citizen and second citizen. We should be the same thing. The third thing they were clamoring for is that Israel should allow Palestinian refugees to return back to their home. All the refugees that Israel have, they should return back to their home country. Now, the three main tools they were using, they were not fighting, they were not shooting guns, they were not bombing anything, no bomb, no shooting. But the three major things they were using is a BDS, which I've given an example. Like normally, if the Igbo want to do, the Igbo in Lagos, they have money. If they want to shake Sanwo-Olu or the governor of Lagos, normally they should all go back to the east and stop investing in Lagos. If they stop investing in Lagos, Lagos will shake. But because they are still investing in Lagos, that's why Lagos is moving. So now the first thing is the tools they use is three tools. The B was the boycott. That is, they don't buy Israel product. Anything produced by Israel, don't buy it. Understand? And avoid academic and cultural practice. Don't go to Israel school. If Israel is maybe in sport, maybe they want to play football, don't attend. They want to do boxing, don't attend. Anything the Israel want to do, don't do it. Don't attend with them. Because so far as you are attending, or so far as you are buying Israel products, you are giving them money indirectly. That is why some people say don't buy Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola profit from Coca-Cola is being sent to Israel to finance them. So that is the boycott part. The divestment part, I said divestment is the opposite of investment. So divestment means that they ask companies and university to stop investing in Israel. They are clamoring that companies should stop investing in Israel. Understand? Why the third one is sanction. Sanction is that they put pressure government to restrict trade and military support for Israel. They ask some country to stop supporting Israel. They stop doing business with Israel. So this three things, up to today, they are still using it. Up to today, they are still. If you go to Facebook, just type boycott Israel product on Facebook, you will see, and even on Twitter, you will see. So they are using it and it's still working. So the DBS is a non-violent movement. Is a non-violent movement that is aimed as achieving three goals we have mentioned. So this is the end of our classroom. Some people have class by 8, so I'll stop here. If you have a question, you can ask your question. So if you have a question, let me just know, please. I think we've talked like 2 hours. I don't know why I'm too talkative. So if you have a question, you can ask a question. Any question? No question. Abi, am I the only one here?
Thank you so much. There's no question from this
You're
side.
not the only one.
Okay, I thought I'm the only one because no one was talking. Any question? Mrs. Zainab, question, Titi, Yaputi,
There's
Peace,
no
question?
question.
No question. Thank you, Akanji.
Thank you very much.
No question. Thank you
so
very much. No
much.
question.
So what I will do is I will send you question. It's going to be OBJ, objective question. It's going to be 400 objective question. So this 400 objective question, if you watch my video, module 1 and module 2, today video, if you attend it from the beginning to the end, and you also watch module 1 video, you will be able to answer this 400 question. Let me just tell you the strategy I'm using. So I just want us to pass together. So the
100
strategy I'm
question
using,
or 400?
400.
Hey.
So what I'm doing is that we touch every part of the handout. Anywhere the question wants to come from, we touch every part. You understand? So if you are able to answer 400 questions, 200 questions from module 1, 200 questions from module 2, if you are able to answer question and you score 80% rather, you score 80% of the question, you should be rest assured that you are moving forward, that this exam, this OBJ in this exam, you will pass. So it's just a way to drill you. So because next week we might not do our class, but I will send questions. I will send OBJ, but I will start from today. Today is a Friday. Yeah. So I will start from today. I will send some questions today on 8:05. And Monday I will send another question for you to practice. Wednesday I will send another, and Thursday I will send another. So you just practice, just OBJ question. So as you are answering the question, if you don't understand, I would just prefer that don't look at the handout, don't cheat, don't look at the handout. Don't answer it on your own. After you answer, let me know. I will now send you the answer. And so after you answer, I will send you the answer and you will mark it yourself. You mark it yourself to judge yourself. So if you are able to judge yourself that did I try, did I not try? So from there, you will know the next step for your step. You know how to move yourself. But I don't want you to just try it yourself. Don't cheat. So I'll send you just take a paper, you look at the question, you answer it one after the other. And after that, just let me know. I'll privately send you the answer in your inbox. So you now check the answer yourself to see if you score or you didn't score. So over 400, if you're able to score like 350, that means that you are ready for the exam. Or you scored 300, that means you are ready. Listen. So after we are done with practice OBJ for module 1 and module 2, we will now proceed with the examination past question, where we'll be looking at the question from our course material, past question, and we'll analyze it together. Okay. So any question before we go? Any question?
Ideally, how many questions are there in the exams?
In the exam?
OBJ. Yes.
In OBJ, see, some exam you will enter, it is 60 questions. You have 1 hour to answer. Listen, but it is over 20. Some exam you will enter, it is 40, but you have 1 hour to answer. Listen, so if it's 60 questions over 20, they will do calculation. They have a way to do calculation. They will put it on percentage. Listen now. So they'll put it on let's say you have 60 questions and it's over 20. Listen, they will put it on calculation, which means if you answer 2 correctly, maybe it's 1. Sometimes you enter the exam hall, it is 40. Sometimes you enter, it is 60. Sometimes you enter, it is 50. But it is not more than it is not more than 60. It is not more than 60. But the reason why I'm making my own to be more is to prepare us. We are touching all parts. We are not leaving any part untouched. We're touching all parts of the handouts. Any other question? Okay, if you don't have any question, thank you very much for staying to the end of the class. I really appreciate. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you, Akanji. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Okay. So